The UK is on the brink of catastrophe. Within the next 10 to 20 years, the British economy is going to collapse and the UK is going to break up and turn into multiple countries. And most likely, each of them as separate, independent countries are going to join the European Union. This sounds like an exaggeration and fear-mongering, but if you look at the British economy, it is actually collapsing from within. Because first of all, the UK is facing a pension collapse. The entire pension system in the UK is not going to survive the next 10 to 20 years. Then there is the government debt collapse. The government debt is rising so fast that in 10 years from now, the British government is going to be in such a dire situation that it might actually get rid of its currency. So there is going to be a currency collapse. And all of these problems are also causing a banking crisis in the UK. So these are the fundamentals of the British economy. So if you think that the current situation is so dire and most people are complaining about the quality of life, then you have no idea what's about to happen to the British economy. And in this video, I will explain how this crisis is going to unfold and why the UK will have no other option but to break up into multiple nations. First of all, to understand that, you have to understand how the modern economy works. The modern economy is a debt-driven economy, and that debt is primarily issued by the government. In the US, we call them US Treasuries, but in the UK, they're called gilts. So the British government issues gilts in order to raise money. It sells that gilt to other participants of the market, such as pension funds, or maybe the Bank of England, or even other banks across the entire UK. When that money goes into the pockets of the government will take that money and will invest it by building infrastructure in the UK, or maybe even paying pensions, or anything like that. The problem with this system is that the British government has actually borrowed way more money than it could possibly afford over the last 25 years. In early 2000s, the debt to GDP ratio was less than 40%. Today, it's more than 100%. And the trajectory is very clear that within the next 10 years, it is going to rise to 120%, maybe then 140%. Who knows where that trajectory is going to be? So by looking at this, investors clearly understand that the UK will never be able to pay back the debt unless it is going to raise taxes and massively cut spending. And do we have a politician that want to do something like that today? It is going to be a political suicide for any British Prime Minister to do anything like that. So that means that nobody is going to do that. Well, investors look at any investment from the lens of risk and reward. The bigger are the risks of a default, the more investors are going to require. So if you look at the British yields, you will see that the yields have been rising substantially to over 5%. So basically, the British government is borrowing more money than ever to finance the previous debt. Because you've borrowed so much money, now you can't pay back that debt. And now you're required to borrow more money to pay the previous debt and run this enormous deficit. But the higher is going to be the debt, the higher are going to be the yields. And that means that you have to borrow more money. But if you borrow more money, borrowing more money is going to make your debt even more riskier, and that is going to lead to higher yields. So the British government is basically trapped in this never-ending loop, which means that every single year from now onwards, the yields on the British debt will continue rising. But the more they raise, the more the British government has to borrow money to finance and close its deficit and prevent itself from collapsing. So investors basically know the end game, which is why they will keep requiring higher yields. So basically, in 10 years from now, there is going to be such a huge catastrophe with the British economy that is very difficult for the average person to comprehend. It is also going to lead to a pension crisis. A pension is when young people are paying taxes so that their retirees will be able to afford their lifestyle, or at least they will be receiving a certain amount of pensions. And that makes sense because imagine you spent your entire life just paying taxes so that when you retire, you will be receiving pensions. And this was not their idea. This was the government's idea. The government introduced an additional tax so that, listen, you will be paying pensions for the rest of your life, and then when you retire, you will receive that. People have accepted that fact and they paid their taxes. So if you don't pay them the pensions, tomorrow they will get to the streets and they will overthrow the government. But the problem is that this system only works when we have more young people than the number of retirees. But what do we have now? Life expectancy has been rising, so people are receiving pensions for much longer. At the same time, birth rates have been collapsing, so we have a lot less people actually paying taxes. That's why, by the way, one of the main reasons why the UK has been welcoming so many immigrants. Not because the UK loves immigrants so much, but rather this was a way to save the pension system. So the pension system is in deep trouble, which is why they had to come up with a genius way to solve the problem. Pension funds usually, when they receive the money, they will invest it in government bonds such as gilts. But gilts are considered some of the safest investments in the market. What do you think they did? They used those gilts as a collateral and they borrowed money from the banks against these gilts. Now they have more money. They took that money and invested that money in more gilts. Now they own a lot more gilts, which means that they will receive a lot more interest payments from the government, which means that now they can actually afford to pay the retirees. Now, at first, this system seems genius. The pension funds in the UK are genius. They used leverage to maximize their returns and solved the pension problem. The problem here is that the gilts yields and gilts prices have an inverse relationship. That means that when the yields on the gilts are going to rise, their prices or their value in the market are going to drop. Why? Because the new gilts will pay you a much higher yield, which means that the price of the older yields are going to drop. Now, what happens when the British government keeps expanding its debt and the yields on that are going to continue rising? Suddenly, the price of the previous gilts are going to fall. And if you're a pension fund that have leveraged your position and on paper your gilts worth a lot less, you will be receiving margin calls from the banks. That means that now you have to sell your gilts in order to pay back the bank because you got a margin call. But if you sell your gilts, the value of the gilts in the market are going to drop even farther, which means that you will receive even more margin calls from the banks. But the more you sell, the more the value of the gilts are going to go down. So it's a never-ending cycle until the price of gilts are going to hit zero and the pension fund is going to go bankrupt, which is why the pension fund in the UK is on the brink of catastrophe. Any small crisis is going to drive the entire pension system into a complete collapse. But this also means that it is going to lead to a banking crisis. The way that banks loan money is based on the amount of assets they have. And by law, these banks, such as HSBC, is required to hold a certain amount of gilts. So based on the value of the gilts, they can create a certain amount of debt. Here's the problem. What happens when the price of these gilts in the market are going to drop? Suddenly, the value of its assets are going to go down. So if the bank has a lot more liabilities than assets on the paper, it is going to lead to a banking crisis because people will be afraid that the bank will not be able to pay them, so they will instantly rush to the bank to withdraw their money. That's exactly, by the way, happened to the Silicon Valley Bank. In 2022, when the Federal Reserve has increased interest rates, and by 2023 the interest rates have reached 5.5%, on paper, Silicon Valley's treasuries became less valuable compared to amount of loans that it has created. So on paper, it would not be able to pay back every single person that deposited their money in Silicon Valley Bank. The next day, everybody rushed to Silicon Valley Bank to withdraw their money, and that's why Silicon Valley Bank collapsed. And the exact same crisis is waiting for every single bank in the UK as long as the national debt in the UK will continue rising. But here is the question, how do you solve such a problem? Because there should be a solution. And yes, there is the solution, and it's called the Bank of England. The Bank of England is the central bank in the UK, just like the Federal Reserve in the United States. And the job of it is to create the currency. In this kind of crises, the Bank of England intervenes and buys a lot of these gilts or the government bonds to push their prices higher. But here's the question. Where do you think the Bank of England is going to take that money to buy the gilts? By printing money. Where else do you think they will get the money from? And that means that there is going to be a devaluation of the currency, which means that prices in the market are going to catastrophically rise, which means that the problem with the cost of living is only going to get worse. Every single time the Bank of England buys the gilts, you have to understand that massive inflation is coming. That's why we have the problem today. Look at the balance sheet of the Bank of England. Since 2020, the Bank of England massively doubled its balance sheet. It means that it started buying massively the gilts. What did that create? Of course, it helped the economy to recover after the pandemic, and the economy, for example, in 2022 has grown by 13.2%. So the average Brit should be very grateful that the economy has grown so much. But that's not the real economy. That's the fake economy. That's the nominal GDP. The real GDP has grown by 4.1%. So the economy actually grew by so much. The GDP grew by so much because we basically threw more money into the economy, as you can see from the balance sheet of the Fed. That's why suddenly everything became so expensive, but your wages haven't grown much. And suddenly people realize that their wages, because they've been living paycheck to paycheck, now that paycheck can afford them a lot less things, which is why we have the cost of living problem. But it was not limited to a single year. Because there was so much money thrown into the economy, that problem persisted. In 2023, the real GDP grew by about 0%. So essentially it didn't grow at all. But the nominal GDP grew by 7.2%. So the GDP is growing. Why? Because we're throwing more money into the economy. So our wages are becoming a lot less valuable. And that continued throughout a couple of years. Take the last year. The real GDP grew by 1.2%, which is actually great compared to the last couple of years. But the fake GDP grew by 4.2%. Essentially, the fake GDP, or the British pound, is losing much more of its value compared to the real wages. And that's why people are feeling the pain of cost of living. Now, why is that a problem? Well, it seems like the Bank of England can always bail out the British government. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. If investors will realize that the Bank of England simply became an ATM for the British government, they will lose faith in the British pound, so they will start massively selling the British pound. They will start massively selling the British gilts. So the yields are catastrophically going to rise, which will worsen the entire debt crisis and will collapse both the currency and the British debt. Now here's the question. When will that crisis is going to happen? Here's the truth. In 2022, it already happened. When Liz Truss became the Prime Minister of the UK, one of the first things she did is that she actually unveiled that there are going to be $45 billion of unfunded tax cuts. So we're cutting taxes by $45 billion, but we're not cutting spending by $45 billion. Investors are not stupid. When they saw that, they realized that the debt problem is going to get a lot worse. So where do you think that $45 billion are going to come from? Of course, from the Bank of England massively printing money and devaluing the currency. What do you think they did? They massively sold off their gilts, which led to an increase sharply in 1% in the yields. Suddenly, that created a panic in the market and forced the Bank of England to intervene and start massively buying the gilts to stabilize the market. And Liz Truss was the shortest serving Prime Minister in the history of the UK. She left the office serving less than 45 days. Do you see how big that problem is? Of course, the British government did something to solve the problem, but unfortunately, that was not a solution. Everything the British government did since 2022 is to simply postpone the problem. And because the debt is getting larger and larger behind our backs, the next such a crisis is going to be significantly bigger than it was in 2022, with the potential to crush the entire economy. So when that crisis is going to happen, which most likely within the next few years, maybe 5 to 10 years, the British government will be left with a very serious choice. What are we going to do? Either We're simply going to let this crisis collapse the entire system, just like I explained in the beginning of this video, and the UK will not be able to survive that, so the UK will be divided into multiple other nations, or the Bank of England is going to step in and will start massively buying the gilts to save the entire UK economy. Well, the second option is of course a real option. But when you do that, the entire world are going to lose their faith in the British pound. And that means that the UK is going to lose its status as the global financial capital of the world, which will make the entire British economy much worse than it was in the past. So if you're complaining about the cost of living today, if you're complaining about the British economy today, then you have no idea what's about to happen with the British economy in the next 5 to 10 years. Most likely, the British government will basically cancel the pensions. So if you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, the British government will simply tell you the government no longer can afford the pensions. So forget about it. And that's why if you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, and even 50s, you have to think about how are you going to retire. You have to start investing and build an investing portfolio that will entirely replace your paycheck. And unlike the government, your investing portfolio will keep paying you regardless of what happens in the world. But here's the question. Which stock should you be buying? How do you build an investing portfolio that fits specifically to you? How do you massively profit from everything that's happening in the world today? Well, if you want a 101 strategy session with my team, you can jump on 101 investing strategy session with my team that will help you to build an investing strategy that is specifically tailored to you. And the first 50 people who will use the link in the description of this video will get the strategy session completely for free. The link is in the description of this video.